in southern Africa. It is a beautiful country, rich in resources and tourist attractions. It is in this nation that one of the seven wonders of the world, Mosi Utunya, which means the smoke that thunders, or more commonly known as Victoria Falls, is found. Other tourist attractions are the historic Great Zimbabwe ruins, Lake Kariba, and Chimanimani. Zimbabwe was previously known as Southern Rhodesia before independence 1980 because of Cecil John Rhodes, her colonizer, who was buried in the Matopa Hills. Zimbabwe is also home to the Big Five: the lion, the buffalo, the leopard, the rhino, and the majestic elephant.
In the traditional Shona culture, men have always considered to be above women. Nowadays, however, due to the incorporation of British culture, many Shona families no longer uphold this tradition. Whenever I go to my father's rural home, which is Kumusha in Shona, seeing as my grandmother is still very indigenous, I will always sit on the floor, whereas my father will sit on the bench, so that we are not on the same level. However, when we get back home, I can sit on the sofa with my father, because we no longer consider that men are above women.
Shona sculpture represents traditional Zimbabwean values. African people have freedom and the right not to be oppressed. Ubuntu of South Africa, Umuntu, and Unu of Zimbabwe represent indigenous values and humanity of the human spirit, which are extended family, love, warmth, support, dependence, sharing, tolerance, togetherness, responsibility, generations, respect for elders, hospitality, cooperation, understanding, and friendship. Slavery, colonization, and the struggle to overcome them were the part of African way of life. In the capital city of Zimbabwe, Harare, lies a school like none other. A school of grace, a school of excellence, a school where greatness is achieved. The name of the school is Arundel, affectionately known as the Pink Prison by our inmates. It is not a pink prison, however, but rather a launching pad for success. Arundel School breeds ladies aged 13 to 18 into women of substance and women of amazing grace. It is an environment where ladies are encouraged to develop their talents and be the best they can be. It opened its doors in 1955 and has not looked back since. It is one of the 150 Cambridge centers in the world. It has been titled the best school in sub-Saharan Africa for the academic excellence it has displayed.
I'm the headmistress of Arundel School. My name is Mrs. Gillian Alcock, and I've been here for 12 years. I myself came to Arundel School in the 1960s and left in 1971. I was head girl here in 1971. My parents sent me to the school because it was open to children of all races. I came here for 6 years and then I went to university at Cape Town. I've always been very impressed with Arundel because Arundel seeks to develop girls in all areas of life. Our particular school vision was developed about 10 years ago when a lot of people got together, a lot of stakeholders, teachers, pupils, board members, parents, old girls, and sat down and said, what is it that we really believe about Arundel? What do we want to develop in our girls? And the school vision that we came up with was that every girl who leaves Arundel is desired to be gracious, an exceptional companion, a capable leader with a sense of commitment and social responsibility. And so here at Arundel we try to, in our class, in our extracurricular clubs and so on, chapel services, we try to get our girls to develop these different areas of graciousness and also social responsibility. We have 4 main values at Arundel, and they are in a particular order for a purpose. And that is, the first main guiding value is integrity. That in everything one does, a young lady should be upright and honest. And then after that, respect. Self-respect and respect for others, whether they are older or younger. The third value is care or compassion. Care for our resources, care for one another, and compassion for those who have less than ourselves. And then our final one, and many people think that this should be the first one, but our final value is excellence. And we can only have real excellence if all of the three values that I've mentioned before are in existence.
My name is Lulu Ward and I'm the head girl of Arundel School. I depend on 2 deputies and 12 prefects. As leaders of the school, we aim to create good personal relationships through open and honest communication. We boldly commit to this, our creed, doing all the above with love, for without it, we are nothing.
In order to maintain a sound conduct of structure and discipline, the meetings of junior leadership team with the head girl are conducted once a week.
Things that have been going on during the week and last week, and maybe just about some things that you guys feel have come up last week. Did we deal with what happened last week the right way?
I think we started to pick up on things, like, well, I know for me, like just wearing tracksuits and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Okay. I know that was a bit of an issue because I know, okay, I did it last week as well, where we weren't maintaining the rules, and I think that's something that really affects the school. And if we don't maintain the rules within us, they start to pick up on it, and it creates like disorder. What are you going to say?
Yeah, I was going to say, I also tried now going back to someone and saying, okay, so I might have said the wrong thing or disciplined you in the wrong way, since we're all opposites, and I'm sorry.
What are the positive things you think we've infiltrated this last week?
I was talking to some form fours and they were saying we have respect for your prefect body. You may go off the rail once or twice, but you keep your word. When you rebuke us, it's not I want to get to you guys. It's one of those, we're doing it out of love. We want to do it for the school.
It's really important, like especially with the punishments that we give, to make sure that they follow through on it. Yeah. So if you given out an article or you said someone should do this and then they don't do it, you need to follow up and be like, why did you do it?
We are the deputy head girls and we're Lulu's right hand ladies. And our duties are to make sure that the school is running smoothly and that the paperwork is done.
Our values slogan that we've promoted to the school is for reals, which is respect, integrity, love, and school pride.
As a prefect, I've learned to be more responsible and dependent.
Being a prefect has taught me a lot. It's taught me how to deal with people and how to be more approachable, and I feel like that's like one of my duties to the school. And Arundel has just been an experience because it's just taught me to get out of my comfort zone and just push myself to the limit.
The school day starts with the chapel service, which represents the school assembly. Although chapel is based on Christian fundamentals, values such as integrity, love, and respect are taught, which do appeal to everyone. Chapel is an everyday source of motivation and inspiration for the ladies.
A third of the Earth's population lives in water-stressed countries, and that number is expected to rise dramatically over the next 2 decades. The crisis is worst in developing nations, and this is very important for our country as well. Many women and young children in rural areas in sub-Saharan Africa and other parts of the world must trek as much as 6 miles every day to retrieve water for their families. Due to this manual labour, such women and children are prevented from their education, from maintaining their households, or earning additional income.
Arundel has value-based approach to lessons. Lessons are carefully crafted to complement Cambridge syllabus objectives and incorporate living valued education. The school strives to provide education as a happy and enjoyable experience through sharing values in different subjects such as English, art, Shona, literature, careers, geography, history, and sciences.
muupenyu hwedu wechivanhu. Iye ndezvinhu zvikuenda zvikokanganisika tsika dzedu dzakasika. Vamwe vakanga vachimborayira tsika dzehavasikwana tete vedu vakaita sei havachagara mumadhorobha nete vanogara mumusha iye zviti hakuteedza chirungu asi takuti tsika kuti kare zvinhu zvanga zvakasiyana nanhasi kaneti ndepapi pazvakasiyana nedzipi dzatinoti isusu itsika dzechivanhu tsika dzatinofanira kuteedza sevana vevanhu.
Sevashona tinofanira kuziva kuti tichengetedze tsika dzedu dzakagara dziripo zvakaita sekumhoresa vabereki vedu patinovaona vachibva kubasa zvakaita seizvozvo.
Ko chii chimwe chatofanira kuita kuti tichengetedze unhu hwedu netsika dzedu? Kumbirai.
Muvaenzi vakakunda vakasvika pamba penyu ungavamhoresa waombera unyatsopfugama unyatsoti ndakadini tete kana ndakadini seko.
Zvakasiyana sei kumhoresa kwevasikana nekumhoresa kwevakomana? Chimbonogona kutiitira here? Ndiani akataridza pakuti musikana amhorose vaenzi mukomanawo achimhorosa vaenzi tokona mutauro uri pakati peizvozvo? Kumbiraiwo kumhorosani uri musikana handiti uri kumhorosa tete wabva kumusha unovamhorosa sei?
Unopfugama woti makadini tete kana makadini sekuru munhu anenge auyaine wacho
uchiombera. Okay, right. Wakana chikari mukomana anoita sei chino?
Ari mukomana anoramba akagara pasi.
Anoramba akagara pasi here?
Anoramba akagara pasi but instead of kupfugama kana kuti anochonjomari.
Right. Chichonjomari tinokona kuti mukomana anomhorosa sei sekuru vabva kumusha avo sekuru vakusekerera vari pasi padhuzeimba
makadini sekuru
saka ndichiombera ndatombira kuti vasikana vedu vasavanoita sei vanodaisane vakomana vanoita sei maitei vasikana.
Okay, ladies, so we're going to discuss these two topics. Can money buy love and what is real love? Who thinks money cannot buy love?
I don't think money can buy love because love can never amount to any cost of money.
I don't think money can buy love because love is a feeling that you're born with and you die with it. When you get married, love is already there. You just have to find a way of expressing it to the person you've chosen.
I think money can't buy love because love is priceless and it's a special feeling which you only feel when someone respects you and cares for you and you feel that they also love you back.
And the last question, what is real love?
I think real love is when you feel for someone deeply, no matter what they are, who they are, whether they rich or poor.
Love doesn't have conditions. It comes deeply from the heart. And it doesn't matter, like what Pio said, it doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, and what you do.
My name is Ncube. I'm a senior at Arundel School.
And I'm Chanmishan, and I'm also a senior at Arundel School. Arundel gives us an opportunity to teach at Arundel, so we can actually learn how to teach the students at lower schools or at high schools. One of the moral values that I actually learned from Arundel is respect for each other and for our teachers. I learned how to greet them and how to pay respect to them and how to talk to them.
Today we taught a lesson on love, and the children picked the lesson. They were very interested in it and we discussed it. And one of the living values that I was taught at Arundel is how to love my friends, my family, even my teachers, even though they give us bad grades and stuff like that. But I've learned to love, and with love comes tolerance and respect and honesty.
In literature lessons, the girls assess what values they learn from William Shakespeare's plays, English novels, and poems.
I learned that an average man or woman would not be the same if you were stuck on an island with no food and no hope of being rescued.
Lord of the Flies by William Golden teaches us that we should, despite the absence of rules, we should keep our civilization, we should keep the values that civilization has instilled in us.
It shows how the mother is so angry at herself and her situation that she couldn't even save her son. Death is part of life, but we're not always willing to accept it.
When I was young, and there were 5 of us, all running wild to my mother's quiet escape, our old enamel tub, age-stained and pocked upon its griffin claws, was never full.
This poem shows how, even though we live in a very materialistic world, not everyone shares in the luxury, and a lot of people do live in poverty, and that a lot of children don't understand the sacrifice of their parents until they're forced into that situation themselves. And how when you're a young child, you assume that you're entitled to the candy and the gifts, but we never quite realize the amount of work that goes into it from our parents' perspective.
Caged bird, Maya Angelou. But a caged bird stands on the grave of dreams. His shadow shouts on a nightmare scream.
His wings are clipped and his feet are tied, so he opens his throat to sing.
Maya Angelou wrote this poem about emotional imprisonment. What we learn from this poem is that we should not be emotionally imprisoned. We should be in charge of our emotions and not have anyone else break us down or our self-esteem.
We also learn that we should always have the freedom to think the way we want to think. We learn that we shouldn't be narrow-minded. We learn that we should be open to different things. Maya Angelou was someone who was abused for a really long time, but this didn't stop her from rising up, so it shouldn't stop us too.
Shakespeare lived over 400 years ago, and yet still today we still learn from him and his character. Richard III is the story of a man who went to extreme lengths to attain power. This teaches us that going to extreme lengths to get power can not only affect us, but those who love us as well. He says in the soliloquy,
"Cheated of feature by dissembling nature, deformed, unfinished, sent before my time, into this breathing world, scarce, half made up, and that so lamely and unfashionable, that dogs bark at me as I halt by you."
Which shows us that the world puts pressure on us to be physically perfect. From during Richard III, I have learned that what we say and do to those who are not physically perfect not only hurts them internally, but then affects what they do.
We teach values mostly in the human geography sphere, because in the physical geography it's mostly facts, and we try to incorporate values as much as we can, since the syllabus itself also accommodates and talks about tolerance. It talks about awareness of other people's cultures and respect and understanding of different people on the earth. Good afternoon, ladies.
Afternoon, Mr. Watson.
Right, today we're going to continue with our topic, which is sustainable management of tropical ecosystems. The 4 values we're looking at are on the board, and these are respect, cooperation, simplicity, and responsibility. What we're going to do is we're going to incorporate them in tropical management.
We can look at the work being done by the International Tropical Timber Organization in opposing non-sustainable logging methods. And this can be seen in Malaysia and Trinidad and Tobago.
All right, simplicity.
And that most countries are using non-renewable uses of energy such as coal, and these release gases that are resulting in environmental degradation.
All right, another one, respect. Thank you.
It would help if people were aware of the impact they're having on tropical rainforests and to evaluate the methods that they're using to make sure that this loss is reduced.
We need cooperation between 2 different continents. For example, South America and Africa, we have similar flora and fauna. So if the 2 continents cooperated, then they can sustainably manage their resources.
Responsibility, yes, Kunai?
I think with sustainable management, we need to note that we're not only responsible for our future generations, but also responsible for the organisms with which we coexist, which is the flora and the fauna. Because the actions of one system will affect another.
Right. Yes, girl?
We can also bring in the being aware of the demographic structure.
Yes.
And if people don't practice sustainable management of the ecosystem, they might, some animals and plants may become extinct, such as the Diana monkey.
Cooperation? Yes, Dawn?
Cooperation is notably not only within humanity,
right.
but humanity and the environment, which is the fauna.
The main value I learned at Arundel School was integrity. And the reason why I came back to Arundel School is basically encompassed in the school motto is by grace and by knowledge. There are some things in there that you do in life because of the knowledge you attain and you get from Arundel School, and there's some things that you get by grace and by the grace of God. And one of the main reasons that I came to Arundel School is that spirituality aspect. You find that some schools is mostly knowledge, but Arundel School, that family and spirituality are also accommodated.
Okay, in this lesson we're discussing how our personal values affect our career choices.
Knowing what drives you and others increases your effectiveness. You have to love what you do. You don't want to get into an organization that's solely for money. If you put your heart and your soul into it and you have a mission, you're able to achieve and go to greater heights.
Okay, the first question I'm going to ask you, how do you feel about that? About working for an organization with a higher purpose?
There are many doctors who first of all go into the profession because they really want to help people. But then if you think about, maybe in Zimbabwe, I think as the medicine has somehow become a profiteering scheme because it's just so expensive. So in the end, it's not about, you'll find that people go to hospitals and because they don't have money, they get turned away.
What are your own career-focused values?
I think the most important thing for my career is to be happy with whatever I choose. So that as long as I've done something that satisfies me in some way, then I'll be happy with it. That's the most important thing.
I would want to do something which would, satisfy me just for me, but then I want to do something which is going to actually help someone.
We all understand that we want to help other people, but then that's not exactly what I want in life because I have an aunt who dreads going to work every single day. She wakes up in the morning and tells us, no, work. But then I want to work where I'll be happy, I feel it in the morning, like, wow, I'm going to work.
As long as I help people during the process, I also want to have lots of money. And I know it sounds really superficial, but to be quite honest, I really want to have enough money to make my children go to good schools like I went to.
What would you do if you're confronted with someone who has different values to you, for instance, in an organization?
I would by all means try to accommodate them because actually with different people, you can't expect everyone else to be the same as you, and if you're not able to accommodate someone, I think you're going to have trouble in life.
So you have to be able to accommodate other people. But then by accommodating doesn't mean you have to compromise your own values. And I think that's also very important, that when you accommodate, you still keep your values and what you stand for as well.
Okay, how can something be selfless yet self-fulfilling at the same time? And can you think of any career paths or situations where this may be the case?
I think that people who are like doctors without borders, those people actually, they leave their homes and their families to go do this, and they don't get paid that much money. And I think that's selfless, at the same time they're helping people.
I think in a way you can also think of leaders to follow this career path in the sense that they're selfless because they're not only thinking about themselves, they've always constantly got to think about the country that they're going to lead.
Bearing in mind your personal values, what sort of working environment do you want and what would you use to judge your working environment?
A working environment based on my values would be an environment which is not exactly family-based, but family values where you appreciate other people's opinions.
It's an environment where you feel that you're respected, not only by your peers, but also by people who are beneath you.
My name is Ncube. I'm an ex-Arundel Girl student who's come back to teach at Arundel. The reason why I came back is because whilst I was at school here, there was a strong impulse of loving one another, being team members, and a lot of cultural values were picked up whilst I was here. I went to another school afterwards, but it was never the same. So I had to come back here so I could experience those things yet again and pass it on to the future generations. I teach art, and in my lessons I try as much as I possibly can to instill cultural values. This morning I had a lesson on drawing faces, and the basic concept is that the eyes, the nose, the mouth are found in particular places. But each and every single one of us is an individual, so we have to spend time observing the differences in the eyes and the nose. Your nose is not the same as mine, it is not the same as a person sitting next to you. So having used that as well, we then take it a bit further and teach the girls that we are all individuals. And each of us, even in our differences, can make a difference and is very important. Just like the school reading, Romans 12, we are all many parts but of the same body. And for us to be able to function with our different parts, we have to come together and make it work.
This is about my family, and I just wanted to show the African side of motherhood. This is the photo, and I'm drawing it from here.
Look at that picture. Now that you
more older, what do you think we can learn from that book exactly?
Well, you can see that, motherhood is important, childhood is important, and that children bond with their mom. You can see that, children cry to their moms whenever they're in trouble, and it shows that, it's important for the children to bond with their mothers.
Today we are doing a poetry lesson on I Have a Dream, and it's words to change the world. It's on some of the great speeches, and I'm playing Martin Luther King's speech, I Have a Dream, so they can listen and be inspired and write their own poetry. After that, in sonnet form and in pentameter, they can use any kind of poetry style that they like. And it needs to be an inspirational poem that motivates them about today's youth.
I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. One day right there in Alabama, little black boys and black girls will be able to join hands with little white boys and white girls as sisters and brothers. I have a dream today.
Arundel girls enter international poetry competitions with the young writers in the United Kingdom. The inspiring poetry lessons give the pupils the opportunity to share their dreams and aspirations.
I have a dream, if not Africa, my country, our land to change. Let not justice or forgiveness be to our country strange. I have a dream, if not my home, to change myself, my heart. It's here and nowhere else that I should make a start.
Imagine a world where there was peace, where love and happiness could only increase. A world so full of delight, where opinions weren't wrong but right. For this can be done, I believe, for that is why I have a dream.
It is ensured that living values are imparted in all school activities, namely morning chapel service, communal lunches in the school dining room, lessons in the classroom, participation in the cultural and sporting arenas, and Interact community services.
We are the heads of Interact, which is a club at Arundel School. Every year we have the Day of Giving, and Nani's going to tell you what the Day of Giving is about.
Basically, the Day of Giving is a day that's compulsory for everyone in the school to donate something, whether it be in kind or money, to Interact, and Interact is going to make sure that it's dispersed to the necessary charities or homes. This year we asked for people to bring kind, like cooking oil and flour and feminine products like sanitary wear and deodorants and stuff, because we want to be able to make a difference in these people's lives, especially with the economic situation. Money might not have as much impact as kind will. We're also giving most of the stuff to homes, like parents will be taking care of 15 children, so it's going to a household which will need things to cook and clothes to give to the children. We also have them giving money, and then with the money we'll be able to give to a home, or we can use the money ourselves to buy stuff that we think will be needed at different charities.
Heart for Kids is a worldwide organization founded by Sandra Deninga, who lives in America, and what it basically is an organization that helps AIDS orphans and orphans, not just in Zimbabwe but all around the world. They need basic necessities like food and water and like clothes to wear, and we bring it to them. As Hearts for Kids, we believe that children are the future, and helping our children of today, makes a better future for everyone else.
Human Family by Maya Angelou. I note the obvious differences in the human family. Some of us are serious. Some thrive on comedy.
Some declare their lives are lived as true profundity, while others claim they really live the real reality.
The variety of our skin tones can confuse, bemuse, delight. Brown and pink and beige and purple, tan and blue and white. I've sailed upon the 7 seas and stopped in every land. I've seen the wonders of the world, not yet one common man.
I know 10,000 women called Jane and Mary Jane, but I've not seen any two who really were the same.
Mirror twins are different, although their features jibe. And lovers think quite different thoughts, whilst lying side by side.
We love and lose in China, we weep on England's moors, and laugh and moan in Guinea, and thrive on Spanish shores. We seek success in Finland, are born and die in Maine. In minor ways we differ, in major we're the same.
I note the obvious differences between each sort and type. But we are more alike, my friends, than we are unalike.
We are more alike, my friends, than we are unalike.
We are more alike, my friends, than we are unalike.
Hi, this is Arundel School, and the girls here are the marimba band. I think this is the best band in the school. Marimbas are typically African instruments, and if you look at the keys, you have the designs there, all to do with music. And the girls here, because this is taken to be an English medium school, we don't want them to forget their culture. So this is one of the ways they have to know their culture. And you play your marimbas with sticks. So it's slightly like a piano keyboard, but you hit with sticks, and you can dance to the music. You can play both traditional music and even modern music, pop, hip hop, whatever you want, you can. And this is actually to bring an awareness to the girls that Shona culture is also rich in its music.
One of the most unique aspects of the Arundel experience is that each and every student that leaves the establishment is equipped with not only an excellent education, but with a strong sense of purpose, built on the firm foundation of values instilled in them through various school-related activities, the most prominent being the school clap. The power of the sound expresses the extent of the school pride, the harmony, the unification, love, respect, tolerance, and incorporation of diversity as each student brings their hands together in school pride.
Thank you.